1 Samuel. Let's look at 1 Samuel. Title: The book of 1 Samuel describes the transition of great leadership in Israel from the judges to the kings. When this book was first written, it was together with 2 Samuel. The book was probably divided to make it easier to fit on the scrolls. Scrolls were the form in which books were written then. The name Samuel means asked of God. Samuel was born in answer to his mother's prayer for a son. Writer: the author of the first book of Samuel is unknown. Outline: Samuel, the last of the judges, 1 Samuel 1-8. Saul, Israel's first king, 1 Samuel 9-15. David, a new king chosen, 1 Samuel 16-31. Main people: Eli, Samuel, Saul, David. History: Joshua, Judges, Ruth, 1 Samuel, 2 Samuel, 1 Kings, 2 Kings, 1 Chronicles, 2 Chronicles, Ezra, Nehemiah, Esther. Location: when we open the book of 1 Samuel, we are in the second division of the Old Testament, the books of history. 1 Samuel is the 9th book of the Old Testament and the 4th book of the history division. When events happened: 1100 BC, Eli, Samuel, 1050 BC, Saul, David. Main events: Samuel, the last of the judges. Chapters 1-8. Samuel was the last judge. The people asked for a king like all the nations around them. Samuel was sad. He prayed to God. God said, "It is not you they have rejected me. Let them have a king, but warn them of the bad things that will happen." Samuel did as God said. Israel's king was God. Gath, Amalekites, Edom, Moab, Ammon. Chapters 1-3. Hannah prayed for a child. God answered her prayer. Hannah gave her son Samuel to God so that he would have a ministry with God's people. God called Samuel to serve him as a prophet and later as a judge. Samuel told the people what God told him to say. Chapters 4-6. The Ark of the Covenant was captured by the Philistines. They returned the Ark to Israel after suffering many disasters. Chapters 7 and 8. Samuel served the people as a judge, but they asked him for a king. 1010 BC. Saul's death. Saul, Israel's first king. Chapters 9-15. God chose Samuel, Israel's last judge, to anoint Israel's first 2 kings. The first king was Saul. Samuel anointed Saul by pouring some oil on Saul's head. This showed that Saul had been chosen by God to be the next leader of Israel. Chapters 9 and 10. Samuel anointed Saul to be king. Samuel presented Saul to the people as their first king. Chapters 11 and 12. The Israelites rejoiced when their new king defeated the Ammonites. Samuel warned the people to serve God and not to worship idols. Chapters 13-15. Saul did not follow Samuel's orders. Samuel told Saul his kingdom would not last a long time because he disobeyed God. Saul's son Jonathan made a daring raid on the Philistine camp. Saul's foolish vow almost cost Jonathan his life. Saul disobeyed God again by not destroying all that he took from his enemies, the Amalekites. God was sorry that he had made Saul king. Samuel told Saul that because of his disobedience, God would choose a new king. David, a new king, is chosen. Chapters 16-31. God told Samuel to anoint a young shepherd, David, to be the next king. Samuel obeyed God. David did not become king until King Saul died. Chapter 16. Samuel found and anointed David, the son of Jesse, to be the new king. Chapter 17. Young David killed Goliath, the giant champion of the Philistines. Chapters 18-20. David became best friends with Jonathan, Saul's son. Saul was jealous because the people loved David. Saul tried to kill David. Jonathan and Samuel protected David. David promised to take care of Jonathan's family. Chapters 21-23. David and his men escaped from Saul, who was chasing them through the wilderness. Saul killed those whom he suspected of helping David. Chapter 24. David had a chance to kill Saul in a cave at En-Gedi, but he spared Saul's life. Chapter 25 and 26. David married Abigail. David spared Saul's life a second time when he found Saul asleep in Saul's camp. Chapters 27 and 28. David lived with the Philistines and became the Philistine king's bodyguard. Samuel died in Israel. Saul learned from a fortune teller about his coming downfall. Chapter 29. The Philistines did not trust David and his men to fight in their army. David and his men returned to their home. Chapter 30. The Amalekites kidnapped the wives of David and his men. David chased the Amalekites and got back everything that had been taken. Chapter 31. Saul and his 3 sons died in battle with the Philistines. Connecting to Jesus. In 1 Samuel. Samuel. The leader Samuel gives us a picture of Jesus Christ. Samuel was a prophet, priest, and judge. Jesus was the greatest of the prophets, priests, and judges. David. The leader David is one of the most important pictures of Jesus Christ that we have in the Old Testament. David was born in Bethlehem, served as a shepherd, and became the king of Israel. In 1 Samuel 13:14, God calls David a man after his own heart. Discoveries from the past. The Ark of the Covenant. The Philistines took the Ark of the Covenant from the Israelites. They put it in the temple of the god Dagon, an idol. 1 Samuel 5:1 and 2. The next day they found the idol on its face on the ground, before the Ark of the Covenant. When other disasters happened to the Philistines, they took the Ark back to the Israelites. Men who had been exploring old cities have found a temple of Dagon in the city of Ugarit, Ras Shamra. The name Dagon can still be found written on artifacts from the days of Saul and David. Artifacts are objects made by other people of a particular period of time. David's music. David's love of music is told in 1 Samuel 16:17 and 18:23. Discoveries by archaeologists show us that music was used in David's time and even earlier. The tombs of some Egyptians had musical instruments in them. One tomb even contained a lyre which was 1,000 years old before the days of David. Where it all happened. Note: Israel was all one kingdom at the time of Saul, David, and Solomon. After Solomon's death, the kingdom was divided as shown here.